So curious to learn, are trial design protocols in the UK where the study is being conducted roughly match the same standards as, say, the FDA in the US? Hey everyone, good morning and welcome to our latest TDR Psychedelic Exclusive. Industry is about to heat up with the news yesterday regarding MAPS and their groundbreaking data. And we want to have some best thought leaders that are in phase 3 trials, bringing to you, the viewers, on companies you should watch and why. So let's begin with that as we welcome in the CEO of Awakn Life Sciences, which trades under the CBOE ticker symbol, formerly known as the New York Exchange, under the ticker symbol AWKN. Anthony Tennyson, back to the podcast. Good to see you.
Good to see you again, Shad, and good to talk to your audience as well today. Thanks for
Yes.
having me on.
Morning where I am, but across the pond, what time is it there right now?
Oh, it's nearly 2 o'clock in the afternoon here on a Friday afternoon.
Getting ready for the weekend. There you go. What
Yeah.
a week for this industry. We've been anticipating this data news for quite some time. A lot of people were obviously hoping that it was going to be strong data. It was groundbreaking. And I really do think this is going to be a turn for the better for the industry, mainstream coverage, but this is going to lift all rising ships. But what was your reaction to the report? And, and probably in a lot of ways, how it's going to benefit companies like yourselves within the industry?
Yeah. So first of all, very pleasing for our sector within the biotech industry. Really pleasing the strong, clear results that MAPS secured in their second phase 3. So sincere congratulations to them
Yeah,
on achieving those results. But really, very importantly, they're a not-for-profit,
I
and
know.
they've achieved that through the very kind, generous donations of their followers and their supporters over the last couple of years. And fair play to Rick for sticking at it for so many years and for getting MAPS and MDMA assisted psychotherapy for PTSD this far. And I wish them luck
Yeah.
in the next stages for them as a company.
37 years. Think about that. You imagine
Yeah,
waking up on a Monday, overcast day in November in 1992, so thinking, is this worth it? Like 37 years. Incredible, right?
persistence, grit.
Persistent.
That is the key.
Okay, real quick, the obviously the trial itself pertained to phase 3 results for MDMA for PTSD. You yourself are working in MDMA. Do you want to shed some light to our viewers on what exactly that is and why they should be aware of that?
Yeah, happy to. So we have many years ago we acquired the IP from a completed phase 2A trial for MDMA oral capsule for the treatment of alcohol use disorder. That was with Professor David Nutt from our team as the principal investigator. We like MDMA. We know that MDMA is particularly helpful
Yeah.
in treating substance use disorders. However, we want there's known pharmacokinetic challenges around MDMA assisted psychotherapy,
Yeah.
particularly pertaining to the length of time in the experience. Now, that'll have an effect on adoption, we believe, within the healthcare industry.
Yeah.
Now, when we look at the addiction treatment industry, particularly in the US, there's 14,000 clinics in the US currently treating alcohol use disorder, but they're not really set up for people to be there in a single room with a number of therapists for 8 hours.
Okay.
And we've learned that there are challenges with the utilization of real estate assets and human resources within the clinics business for psychedelics, because we used to have a couple of clinics and we've sold those.
Yes.
So what we're looking to do is we're looking to develop MDMA and to address those pharmacokinetic challenges and potentially reduce the time in clinic. So to do that, Shad, what we've done is we've partnered with Catalent, an American leading global developer, distributor, and manufacturer of drugs.
Yep.
We've partnered with them to develop MDMA into a sublingual formulation, an oral disintegrating tablet for sublingual delivery. And we're in the middle of that feasibility study, and we're feeling pretty good about it.
That's good.
And we think we may be onto something quite interesting as it pertains to the use of MDMA to treat addictions within the existing infrastructure that exists
Yep.
for treating addiction in the US.
Yeah, always learning as this emerging industry continues to unfold. Real reason why a lot of investors are fixated on your company. Big news. You just submitted the clinical trial application for your phase 3 trial for your lead program, AWKN P001, for the treatment of severe alcohol use disorder last week. Not a lot of companies that you and I have discussed in the past that are now into a phase 3. You're one of them. That is big news, to say the least.
Yes, it is. It's something that we're very pleased about. We're not quite in phase 3 yet. We've just submitted the clinical trial application to the competent authority in the UK. And we expect and hope to have feedback from them in the coming weeks, and ideally all going according to plan, securing regulatory and ethical approval for that phase 3 trial before the end of this year, and ideally first participant treated in that trial in early Q1 next year.
Right. We're seeing a lot of mergers and acquisitions in this industry. We also saw big news last month. Compass Pathways, some very sophisticated investors did a share purchase program north of $250 million for a trial that's beginning in a phase 3. You are about to enter that as well. Are you garnering a lot of attention pertaining to this specific trial?
We are indeed. And I think what sets us apart from other companies at this late clinical stage is how efficient we are in executing and achieving milestones. That phase 3 trial that I mentioned to you, Shad,
Yeah.
first thing is in phase 2, we achieved results that are 3.5 times better than the current standard of care for treating alcohol use disorder.
Wow.
And this phase 3 is being primarily funded by the UK state.
Yep.
UK Department of Health is funding most of the costs for this phase 3. It's an N equals 280, two-armed, placebo-controlled trial, and our costs are capped at 1 million US, paid out over the next couple of years.
So cost
that's
is
it.
not an issue at all pertaining to this.
So our costs are capped at 1 million US for a phase 3 N equals 280 trial
Yeah.
for ketamine assisted therapy to treat severe alcohol use disorder targeting the UK market. And in phase 2, we achieved results that were 3.5 times better than the current standard of care.
Yeah.
So we're garnering a huge amount of interest, which is really, really positive for us. Very interestingly, you mentioned the Compass Pathways financing. One of the key investors in that was Ashland Capital.
Okay.
We have Dennis Purcell, the founder and chairman of Ashland Capital, as a special advisor to Awakn. So there's lots of positive things happening in the industry now with Compass, with Mindset, with Maps, and we're getting some really good positive feedback from our investor base as well. So hopefully the industry and the segment is through the worst of what's been going on for the last while.
Yeah, big question is whether or not big pharma will enter in this space. Those questions were answered a couple of weeks ago, obviously, with Otsuka acquiring Mindset, which I think what I'm seeing in a trend in this industry is that a lot of companies are shedding their cost and just focusing primarily on what their pathway to revenue is going to be, which appears to be your phase 3 trial. So walk us through some of the timelines and when you believe the regulators will approve the CTA and when patient dosing will occur thereafter.
Yep. So we submitted the CTA for our phase 3, which is reduced, a low cost phase 3 for us, cost capped 1 million US. We submitted that a couple of weeks ago. We would hope to have regulatory and ethical approval before the end of this year.
Yep.
And have first participant early next year.
Okay.
And then enrollment complete, running the trial through 2024, 2025, finishing the trial late 25, early 26, analyzing the data, submitting marketing authorization in the UK for our therapeutic to treat severe alcohol use disorder late 26, and all things going according to plan, being in market in the UK in 2027.
So something similar to Compass's phase 3 trial then too, correct?
So along the same lines, and really importantly for us, is all around its commercialization, market access, getting these treatments into market in the UK to the people that need them.
Okay.
There's 670,000 people in the UK suffering with severe alcohol use disorder. 100,000 of them are in treatment in the public healthcare system in the UK at any one time. And the public healthcare system in the UK controls 90% of the marketplace. So we're really lucky here with this phase 3 trial. Our phase 3 trial has actually been run in 10 NHS trust sites.
Wow.
So there's 10 NHS trusts, that's the public healthcare system. They're running the trial for us. And we've secured the UK version of breakthrough designation.
Yeah.
And so, in parallel to running the trial in the public healthcare system with the organization that controls 90% of the marketplace in the UK anyway, we're able to start talking to the regulator in parallel with the phase 3 about market access and about pricing.
Yeah.
So we're really, really pleased for the speed at which we're progressing into phase 3, the cost of the phase 3, and the future engagement that we're going to have with the regulator to enable us to discuss market access in parallel to running the phase 3.
Just another chapter that we're learning about this space, but it blows my mind away. 3.5 times more effective than current use is what you had said, right?
Yes, correct. Typically, with alcohol use disorder, 75% of people have relapsed.
Yeah.
So only 25% of people are abstinent 12 months post treatment.
Right.
In our phase 2 trial, phase 2B trial, we secured 86% abstinence on average versus 25% abstinence on average in current standard of care.
Wow.
So that's the performance improvement
Yeah.
available by AWKN P001
Yep.
that we're bringing forward into a phase 3 that we will be looking to secure or apply for marketing authorization subject to successful completion of the phase 3, applying for marketing authorization in 2026 to ideally be in market in the UK, where there's 100,000 people being treated by the NHS for severe alcohol use disorder in market in 2027.
Yep. Also want to touch on the UK Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, MHRA, has previously awarded an innovation passport for compound AWKN-P001, which is entry point for MHRA's innovative licensing and access pathway, the UK's version of the FDA breakthrough designation. So for those not familiar with the UK's regulatory drug development framework, what significance does this designation carry for the upcoming trial and why it's important?
Well, as I said earlier on, it enables us to have a conversation with the regulator about market access in parallel to running the phase 3. It also gives us accelerated interaction with the competent authority, so the MHRA, their version of the FDA. So it speeds up communication, so therefore reduces time. And also, as I said, enables us to begin conversations around market access and pricing in advance of or in parallel to running the phase 3. And that's really important because something to note about the UK is J&J secured marketing authorization for Spravato in the UK, but they didn't get support on pricing from a committee called the NICE Committee, NICE. And NICE are the people who essentially say whether or not the NHS, the public healthcare system, can purchase a drug product. And the NHS controls 90% of the marketplace.
Wow.
So in essence, for an American audience, NICE approval is equivalent to a CPT1 code.
Interesting.
It enables the largest purchaser of healthcare services in that large market to buy your drug product. That's something that J&J did not secure, but that's something that we're going to be we plan to have conversations with the regulator in parallel to running the phase 3 so that we have as high a probability of securing marketing authorization and also NICE approval as possible.
Yeah.
Now, things may not go according to plan, but that's what we're currently aiming for.
What did you say? Is it the UK? 670,000 are currently
675,000 people in the UK suffer with severe alcohol use disorder at any one time.
So
our lead program, AWKN P001, is targeting severe alcohol use disorder, which is the most acute type of alcohol use disorder.
So curious to learn, are trial design protocols in the UK where the study is being conducted roughly match the same standards as, say, the FDA in the US?
They'd be the same standards, absolutely.
What do you, numbers wise, have you seen what people are like, what the numbers are for severe alcohol use disorder in America? Do you know?
There's about 15 million people in the US suffer with alcohol use disorder, about 5 million with severe alcohol use disorder.
Wow. So, what would you say then when it comes to the future approval of MHRA regulators allowing access to the therapy in other jurisdictions in Europe and North America? Then,
Um, so the UK is out of the EU, so its
good point.
approval will only be in the UK. But there is a cooperation agreement in place between the UK, Canada, Switzerland, Singapore, and Australia around sharing resources at a regulatory level. Whether or not there is, dual access, that is unclear at the moment, just
Yep.
given the MHRA is extracting itself from its previous interaction with the EMA. So we're targeting our lead program. We're targeting the UK market. The UK market alone, given our market capitalization
Right.
and the opportunity available in the UK, is a significant market for us. Even if we secure a 10% market penetration, that's still about 10,000 people, 10% penetration into the NHS. It's about 10,000 people per annum. That's quite a lot when you think of the comparative price charged in the US for, let's say, Vivitrol, which is a market leading drug in the US. They charge about $1,600 to $2,000 per month for a 12 to 24 month drug assisted treatment
Wow.
program for alcohol use disorder.
Do the math. Wow.
Correct.
Well, as we've discussed in the past, and including in this podcast, like I said, there's a lot of companies in the space that are shedding business costs. That's like not their main primary focus. You recently made moves to exit the clinical business model to focus on drug development and IP. But important to note that you still maintain vast clinical partnerships in North America and Western Europe. So why does an arm's length clinical model make sense at this time than say owning your own clinics outright?
So it's about a use of capital. We, in the current markets, we've decided to focus only on biotech and healthcare. When we set the business up, and when you look at alcohol use disorder, the addiction treatment industry in the US, a huge amount of value comes from the clinics. So we wanted to understand the clinics model so that we could develop drugs and therapies that would be suitable for adoption at scale within that infrastructure. So we wanted to understand the clinics business.
Yep.
We've done that. Our target product profiles in our R&D business are informed by what we learned in the clinics business. But we've exited the clinics business. We've significantly reduced our burn, which enables us to extend our runway. But really importantly for us is we want to maintain proximity and relationship with the healthcare industry
Right.
so that we can establish, so we can prepare the addiction treatment industry and the clinics industry. We can prepare them for delivering our therapeutics for when they come on label. So we've now got relationships with third-party clinics in place in Canada,
Yep.
in California, in New York, in Norway, in the UK, and in Portugal. And we're receiving inbound inquiries on a regular basis. And really, what it's from our perspective, it's about empowering clinic, addiction treatment and mental health treatment facilities. We're about empowering them to deliver more effective therapeutics to the individuals, families, and communities for whom the current approaches just aren't effective.
Yep. And let's face it, addiction, especially alcohol use disorder, I don't know what the trends are over the next couple of years, but I can't see how that number is just going to climb steadily.
Well, it's a persistent problem for society, and
100% it is.
it has been for years, and it will continue to be. And unfortunately, there's another cohort turning 18 or 21 every year and gaining exposure to this compound and becoming addicted to it. And the current treatments
No.
are not effective. There's high relapse rates, and there's an industry there, very large industry in the US, that's really crying out for a more effective treatment option, and that's what we're developing.
Well, Alcoholics Anonymous by Bill W. I think that was created back in 1935, if I'm correct. So we're almost 100 years later. But, some of the conversations I have is like some people like talk therapy, but there needs to be more. And this is where the study of this industry for various things, including alcohol use disorder, 3.5 times more effective than the current model in play. It's and a phase 3 trial, and you're capped at $1.25 million. So obviously long-term burn rate is not an issue pertaining to this particular trial, but interesting to see like when you do get your approval from the CTA. But needless to say, you now enter into an echelon that very few are in, and be curious to see how things start to unfold.
Yeah, listen, Shad, thank you very much. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. We've got a lead program, phase 3,
Yeah.
severe alcohol use disorder that affects 10 million people in the US and key international markets in Europe. That phase 3 is only going to cost us 1 million US or 1.25 million Canadian. But we've also got other programs that we're running to de-risk our pipeline, and particularly of interest, given what MAPS are working on, is our MDMA program, where we've partnered with Catalent, who's a global leading provider and developer of sublingual route of administration. So we think we're onto something pretty interesting with our lead program,
Yeah.
but also our secondary program around developing MDMA to address some of the pharmacokinetic challenges that I think will make it hard to be adopted at scale within the addiction treatment industry. So we're looking to address that because we think MDMA assisted therapy will be useful for treating substance use disorders in much the same way as our lead program is as well.
Keep the messaging going, right?
Correct.
Good to see you. And what a week it's been, but excited for the industry and see how this is going to turn the corner. But good times to say the least, but more importantly, just advancing research that's badly needed for society, right?
Correct. Listen, I'm Irish. I've seen what alcohol has done to a large part of my society, and the current treatments aren't as effective as they need to be for all people. There are, as you said, talk therapy works for some people, but it doesn't work for all people. Some people need more help. And really what we're looking to do is to provide hope for those individuals, families, and communities whose lives are being destroyed by alcohol addiction.
Yeah. Good for you. Anthony, appreciate the time. Let's keep in touch.
Thank you very much, Chad. Right. Have a great weekend. Take care.
Too. Take care. What's up, everyone? So what'd you think of the interview? Are there any more questions you want us to ask that you want to learn more of? Then leave a comment below and let us know what you think. As usual, share this video with your network, smash that like button, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel because we would not be here without you. Thanks for watching, everyone.